Hey everyone, today in this video, I'm going to be checking out the SwitchBot. This is their K10 Pro Combo. Special thanks to SwitchBot for sponsoring today's video and sending us the product that you see here. I want you to know that any opinion expressed in this video is strictly my own. That being said, if you're interested in this product or you want to find out more about it, the link to it will be in the video description. Take a look at the retail box and packaging right here with a couple of features highlighted for our K10 Pro Combo. Now let's go ahead, let's open it up and see what's inside. Here are all the contents. We have a lot of goodies to go over. First, we have our product literature consisting of a quick start guide, full user guide and manual for both the robot vac and our cordless stick vac. Moving along, you'll notice we have our removable battery for the stick vac right here. Really cool design. Here's the stick vac and the robot vac that we'll look at in more detail in a minute. Multiple accessories and attachments for the stick vac. Crevice tool with bristle brush on it. We have a larger brush right here too. More of your upholstery tool. Main brush roller with LEDs. See it from all sides and angles. The two wheels. It can move up and down, left and right. We also have a mini brush roller here. So nice mini brush roller. We have a couple pieces of hardware and some hardware kits. Included Phillips head screwdriver. We have a filter. Multiple, it looks like accessory holders and storage that will clip on and install with the main unit right here too for the stick vac. As well as its metal and plastic body. And we have our station. Let's look at the RoboVac, our cordless vac, and the station in more detail. Starting with the top of the RoboVac, we have two control buttons as well as the SwitchBot logo and branding on top of the LiDAR navigation module. We have a white glossy cover that's removable, held on by 4 magnets. On and off switch here, so be sure to flip that to the on position. Then we have a handle to remove the dustbin. So for the dustbin, we can press to get access to the inside to easily clean as needed. And we have cleaning and care instructions at the very top of the dustbin for us. But again, this does self-empty, so you won't have to get in the dustbin very often. Removable filter. Snaps right back in. There's a look with the dustbin removed. Moving along to the side of the vacuum, at the very front, you'll notice our navigational bumper and sensor suite. Here's a look at it from the side. SwitchBot, Silotech branding. We have our dustbin here with our self-empty that will come right through there. Here's a look at the other side with their wall detection. And back to the front. Looking at the underside, we have our 2 spring-loaded drive wheels, omnidirectional wheel, multiple cliff sensors. We have our side cleaning brush that is stored in our self-empty station, which we'll look at in just a minute. And then here's a look at the main brush roller that is removable. You can see it up close. It's a nice rubber agitator here. And there's a look at it with it removed. Moving along to the cordless vac, take a look at it right here. On this side, that's where the battery is going to be installed. It'll only fit one way and it'll snap right in. We have our power button and suction button there, so we have our controls. Light sweep suction, designed by SwitchBot, product info, SwitchBot logo and branding. Here's our dustbin, and we can press these 2 buttons to remove it. And we have access to a filter already installed, so they do give us an extra one. We can pull this guy out if you want full access to the inside of the dustbin for cleaning. And on the other side, there's a little button you could press here if you ever wanted to open up this lid for the self-empty. That just pops right back on, and then everything will snap right back in place. So really cool stick vac right here. But wait, there's more. We can assemble the main body right here. It just snaps right in place, and we can press that button to release if needed. And then we can add our favorite accessories. So we can take the main brush roller right here, snap it right into place. And now we have that set up and ready to go. We can take our mini brush roller. That'll snap right in place. If you don't want to use the extension, you don't have to. So you could add these just like this, or like this for a more handheld option with good length still to get those hard to reach areas. And I know somebody out there is wondering, hey, can we use the main brush roller with it in more of a handheld mode? The answer is yes. But wait, there's more. Now let's take a look at the station itself. We have a sticker up here letting us know the mopping cloth pack, bin filter, and dust bag are inside the canister, so let's open it up. The lid just comes right off, revealing our vacuum bag as well as our wipes for the mopping pad or module, whatever you want to call it. So we have that here, and we already have a vacuum bag already installed, which is great to see. Here's your close-up of the wet mopping cloths for the K10 with instructions on the back side. Extra vacuum bag, extra filter. I thought the side brushes were going to be in the station, but I just overlooked a piece of cardboard that had them housed in it during the initial unboxing, so make sure that you have 2 side brush rollers as well for your vacuum. On the underside of the lid, we have a multi-purpose cleaning tool and instructions with how to change the dust bag. Here's your left side view, right side view. Here's a look at the very back with integrated power cord. This is the bottom, this is the top. Here's a look at the underside. We have multiple grip feet and a clear see-through debris channel, so if there's ever a clog or anything in here, we can use a Phillips head screwdriver for easy access to clean that up. And then here's a look at the very front. So this is the top, this is the bottom, fusion base, some sensors here, charging contacts, and self-empty. Now let's set it up and try it out. First things first, we're gonna install one of the included side brushes, line it up, and it just snaps right in place. Now the vacuum's all set and ready to go for vacuuming. But what if you wanted to do mopping? Let me show you that really quick. To install the mopping cloth, we're going to set ours down on the table right here. We have 2 tabs that are going to line up with the 2 holes in the cloth, just like so. And we're going to fold that around. And then you'll notice on the back side here, we're going to fold this up so we can just bring it over, and then basically we can use this tab down below and feed it in. Same thing with the other side. So if you want to do the tab first, you can. But feed it over and around, it'll stick there, and then just take the cloth and tighten it up just like that. So there we go. We have the mop cloth installed. 2 tabs there with the hole. Bring it around, pinch it there, and then it just rests in place up at the top and kind of sticks to the Velcro there. And then there's a look at the underside with it installed. And they are wet, which is great to see, so it's already leaving a damp spot there. And then we'll just take those 2 tabs, line it up there, and then it snaps in place. And now you're ready for mopping. So we have the mopping module installed where it will wipe your floors down. But that's not all. Now it's time to set up the station. So first thing we're gonna do is remove the cover. We're gonna take the main piece right here, and it's gonna fit right here. It's only gonna go one way, and it slides right in. We'll be using these 4 screw holes, and we have this silver edge on the back. So it'll just slot and line up with the back side here. So if you can see that, that slots in just like so. I'll show you from this side. So it just slides right on in and down. We'll give you that top view again. And now we have our 4 screw holes where we'll take the 4 screws that are included in this kit. We'll drop them in there and tighten everything down. 1 screw down, 3 to go. All right, 4 screws are in place. There's no wiggle or wobble or anything like that. Now we can take the 4 caps here and drop those in place. So take a look at that. Everything has been assembled on both sides with our plugs and caps in place. Now for the rest of this, well, we can put the lid back on. That'll still work the same and fit. Everything else is going to be accessory storage here. And these 2 will just line up and should snap right in place. So we can snap both of those together, try to show you from the underside. So there's our accessory storage to keep nearby. And then we have a cable spacer here for the vacuum too. So there's a little cable cut out, and this will just clip into the back side of the unit. You can position this when you have it installed. But we have our cable here, right? And then we can route it out through the spacer if we wanted to. And that just snaps right into the back of the unit. So just line it up, and then it'll snap right in, just like so. Snaps in, and you can route the cable as needed. But there's our little spacer back there for the vacuum. Ta-da, there you go. We have everything all set up. And what's really nice too, with the cordless stick vac, you can store it with the main brush roller on. So very thoughtful of them in that design to incorporate that. So you could leave that on for easy storage for everything from the accessories to the main unit, all in a nice compact form factor that's gonna save you space. Now let's charge it up and try it out. All right, we just got our first clean out of the way. Let's take a look at the real world results. This is disgusting. Here's our wipe on our mopping module here. Super gross. We have a lot of larger contents and just debris that it was able to wipe up off the floor. Seriously, I've never seen one look this bad, so I'm super embarrassed. But there you go. I had it mop under the table, and you can thank my kids for the blueberries and some of the other food particles on there that were on the floor. So I'm glad we had that go and wipe everything down, especially under the table where it's hard to reach. So there's a look realistically at what you could expect with your wipe as well when it's mopping on your floors. Now let's look at the vacuum. We'll flip it over. We'll start with the main brush roller. No tangles there. That's rather impressive because I have a long-haired dog and I have 2 daughters with long hair, and my wife has long hair as well. Let's pop it open. Okay, we do see a little bit of tangling here. That would be as expected, so it's gonna basically wind itself down off the main brush and go right there. So we will have to maintain that and keep an eye on both the corners, but not bad at all there. And then we have dirt and dust on the inside here, and I see that our dustbin is full because it's peeking out right there. We'll pop the cover off and we'll pop the dustbin out. Got a prompt even letting us know that it's been removed. So let me see if I don't make a huge mess here. We'll look at the contents. We'll open it up. And here we go. Look at that. Tons of dog hair and human hair. Super disgusting. We got finer dirt, dust, and debris and crumbs at the bottom. So you can see what's still left down in there in the dustbin. Some grass, some fur. A lot of crumbs. And then here's everything that we emptied out. Now, again, I'm manually emptying this because I intercepted it from the self-empty. This would all empty itself automatically out of there, but I wanted you guys to see what it's actually picking up. So really fine dirt and dust, crumbs, rocks, grass, mulch, sticks, food, hair. You get the idea. And what about the cordless vacuum? Let's take a look at its dustbin content. So it's nice and full right here. Look at that. Oops, we went past the max line, but lots of hair already visible through there. Let's pop it open and gently remove the dustbin here. So we'll look at the filter as well. Looks fairly clean still. I see a little bit of discoloration with some of that fine dirt and dust starting to accumulate, but not much coming out of the filter there. Got a hair here, and now we'll just gently remove this. Take a look, we'll do a full 360 there. You can see the hair and dust starting to accumulate. Some really fine dirt and dust starting to come out of that. And then look at this, it's just basically a wad of human hair, pet hair, crumbs. Let's get all that out here. Look at that. Amazing what it's actually able to vacuum up for us. This mega hairball. Kids stickers. Typical debris you bring in from the outside of your house. Some paper, but a lot of human hair and pet hair. All tied up in there. So, since we vacuumed up all that really long hair and pet hair, how did the main brush roller do? Wanted to show you that as well. And we do have some tangles on here. So a lot of the human hair trapped front and center there, and then some larger threads on the side from the carpet. So keep an eye on this for long-haired households. Those hairy households out there, you'll want to just keep an eye on this and cut this away periodically. But yeah, overall, it looks really good for what it is. The SwitchBot app offers a comprehensive suite of controls for the K10 Plus, including advanced mapping with no-go zones, no-mop zones, and virtual walls, as well as multi-map support, room and area cleaning, suction power adjustments, and dust collection settings. Users can also customize their experience with scheduling options, carpet mode for enhanced suction, and manual controls. Additionally, SwitchBot integrates with a variety of third-party services, enabling control through preferred smart home assistants. Notably, the K10 Plus supports Matter, ensuring effortless access across different smart home platforms. SwitchBot offers Matter support through its Hub 2 and Hub Mini Matter-enabled devices. This allows users to seamlessly control SwitchBot products such as the K10 Plus Pro, SwitchBot Lock, Curtain, and Blind Tilt across major platforms, including Apple Home, Google Home, and Alexa. Matter compatibility enables users to effortlessly connect SwitchBot devices and IR appliances across ecosystems for a more unified experience. Additionally, the K10 Plus Pro supports Matter over Wi-Fi, ensuring users are ready when Apple Home introduces support for the robot vacuum category. So how does this stack up against the competition? We'll be comparing it to SwitchBot's very own K10 Plus that we've tested, as well as the overall average of your typical robot vacuum cleaner. We've personally tested over 60 robot vacuum cleaners. It's actually probably closer to 70 by now, and that keeps growing weekly. So we're excited to get that to 100 and continue to refine our data. But we'll be looking at it through the lens of compared to its younger brother, as well as the overall average robot vacuum. So first up, max suction power. This is measured in PAs, 3,000 PAs of suction power with this unit. That's 500 PAs more than the K10 Plus. And both are going to be substantially below average. The average comes in around 5,100 PAs. So we're 2 or 2,500 PAs below average. That leads us directly to our next metric, which is max CFM. Just like suction power, usually the higher the better. You want to see larger results in values here to help equate. Doesn't always mean, but it helps us get a better feel for how it's going to actually perform in the real world. But you'll see here in a second why that's not always the case. So 3.9 CFM we got for our K10 Plus Pro, which is actually below the K10 Plus of 4.3. That could be within a margin of error, but it also could have to do with the redesigned rubber brush roller. I'm not really sure, but it's interesting to point out nonetheless. We have greater suction power, but in our testing for CFM and that airflow, we actually record a little bit less. But just like suction power, both are going to be below your average. But the good news here in our carpet deep cleaning test, it did not matter. Both of these units do exceptionally well. I'm always blown away that they're able to perform so well on carpets. They're small but mighty. So 95 out of 100. 10 points above the average, and even with that 500 PA boost of suction power and redesigned brush, we're not seeing any noticeable difference in performance. It was already good enough on the K10 Plus. Now it's the same, technically spec-wise, it's better on the K10 Plus Pro, but realistically, you might not notice much of a difference. Where you will notice a difference is max decibels. With that increased suction power, this unit is going to be a little bit louder. It peaks at 73 decibels compared to 70 decibels for the K10 Plus and our average of 71 for your typical robot vacuum cleaner. None of these are really going to be any louder than the other. If you were in the room listening to your average RoboVac versus any of the K10 models vacuuming together, you would be hard pressed to tell the difference. They're all just going to sound like a vacuum running in your room. Now, what's unique to the SwitchBot K10 Plus is what they call Silotech technology. So in decibels, these units can get as low as 45 decibels, running nice and quiet for you while they're vacuuming. In regards to battery life, although this vacuum is small, they really get the most out of its form factor. We still have 150-minute runtime on this unit. That's only 10 minutes below the average. And why you're seeing that slightly lower runtime probably has to do with the battery capacity, 3,200 milliamp hours compared to your average of 39. But again, same theme here, small but mighty, and they really get a lot out of a little. Speaking of a little, the height on this vacuum is 3.6 inches. That's right at the average, but it's actually below average because most of your LiDAR equipped vacuums will be in that 3.9 4-inch range. This unit is one of the smallest LiDAR vacuums out there. You will see that average height be even lower than 3.6 inches for vacuums that don't have LiDAR navigation. They usually come in closer to 3 inches. And why that matters is you might have low pieces of furniture, so the shorter the vacuum is with its height, the more effective its cleaning reach will be. But I would argue I'd much rather have LiDAR navigation and my vacuum be a little bit taller than not having LiDAR navigation to have a subpar experience cleaning and mapping. Next up, we have our bin capacity measured in milliliters, 200 milliliter bin capacity. Again, at the end of the day, there has to be some compromises for a unit this small, and this is a great one to compromise on because it's a self-emptying vacuum. You tend to find larger dustbins on vacuums that don't support self-empty to limit the amount of times you have to go and manually empty the vacuum. In this case, you can configure it within the mobile app to go back, I think, like every 60, 75, or 90 minutes to empty itself. So it really is a moot point and doesn't matter with this particular model. Next up, we have our position sensitivity detector. This is a unique feature found on the K10 Plus Pro that isn't found on the regular K10 Plus. Basically, they updated the sensor suite, so now it does a better job navigating in corners and around things like table legs, giving you a better edge clean. All of that's refined find with this unit that's not found on the other model. I think it's gonna have to do with the wall detection sensor on the side. If you look at that compared to the regular K10 Plus, they have mixed up and changed up that sensor suite. So I think that's how they're using it to refine its navigation that you don't see on the previous model. Moving on to the cordless vacuum side of things, how does this stack up against the competition? First, we're looking at battery life. This comes in with a 41-minute max battery life. That's down from the average of 54 minutes. And for those wondering, that's using the crevice tool. If you want to use the main brush roller, you're looking at about 35 minutes or 11 minutes with this setup in max mode. So keep that in mind. Your mileage will vary depending on the suction setting and attachment that you're using. Next up is dustbin capacity. Compared to the competition, we have a slightly smaller dustbin, but for the size and form factor of this vacuum, it works, and it works great. Really doesn't matter because this can empty itself. You don't have to be doing any of the emptying manually. So on non-self-empty versions, you tend to find larger dustbins because guess what? You're doing it yourself. Moving along to max suction power, this comes in at 70 watts compared to the competition at 130. So we're pretty substantially below average, but that average consists of vacuums across all price points. This one's gonna be more in line with your budget-friendly vacuums versus your premium high-end flagship vacuums that would cost as much as this whole kit together and then some. So take that with a grain of salt. Usually you want to see higher results here. It's a good leading indicator for actual real-world deep cleaning results and what you can expect in real life versus in a factory setting. But let's put a pause on that and we'll come back in just a second to see how it actually does in real-world deep cleaning to know if it really mattered. And same story with max suction power in kPAs, 20 kPAs compared to the average of 22, very respectable. And in our measured max suction power, we got the same score, 20 kPAs compared to the average of 21, so neck and neck with your typical cordless vac. Max CFM is another result that we measure in-house, 30 CFM compared to the average of 40. Typically, like suction power, we want to see higher results here as a good leading indicator for its actual cleaning effectiveness, but take a look at this. In our carpet deep cleaning scores, we nearly got the average of all of those vacuum cleaners. We're 2 points below average. Very, very respectable score. So everything else we saw was basically a wash for what it is. This is the one that matters in my opinion, and it does a really good job at cleaning. We embed coffee grounds in the carpet and measure before and after, and it did a nice job. In regards to max decibels, we always measure this vacuuming on carpet with the loudest suction setting, 87 decibels compared to the average of 86, so well within line for your typical cordless vac. You will hear this vacuum when it's vacuuming. That's not really a surprise. It's really not any louder to your ears to perceive versus an 86 decibel vacuum. Now this next feature, self-empty, is really a premium flagship feature that we're only seeing on 23% of the vacuums that we've tested, so it still has a long way to go to be fully adopted in the market. We'll continue to see that trickle down to more and more models, but it's really a nice premium feature that we get. It's super convenient not to have to worry about emptying the dustbin yourself. And for a lot of you out there, you have concerns about the weight of your vacuum. This one's very lightweight. My 3- and 4-year-old toddlers love to use this vacuum around the house, which is really fun. It's lightweight, it's easy to maneuver. It's 2 pounds below your average typical cordless vac. So for those of you that are worried about extended cleaning sessions and any sort of wrist, arm, or hand fatigue, this one's gonna help minimize that being so light. Speaking of light, a different kind of light, this is equipped with LED lights. That's a must-have feature in my opinion. We're seeing that on 63% of the cordless vacs that we've tested. But it's not just any sort of ordinary LED lights. This has green LED lights that are more effective in seeing dirt and dust on your floor, especially in dimly lit or dark environments. We only see that on 10% of the vacuums that we've tested. More and more continuing to add those green lights. And it's really a nice touch that they added it to this specific vacuum. And the big one, this counts for both the robot vac and the cordless vac together. What does this unit cost compared to the competition so we can get a better feel for the value? So take everything that we just looked at and its performance and its features, and now we got to weigh that between the average cost of a cordless vacuum and the average cost of a robot vacuum. First up, rather shocking, this comes in below the average cost of your typical robot vacuum cleaner. So basically, you're buying a robot vac and getting a cordless vac for free. That's a way that you could look at it. And you're still technically saving money. So the value is rather impressive with the whole system bundled together versus buying a robot vac and a cordless vacuum separately. So where's that leave us with the SwitchBot K10 Pro Combo? Let me share with you my final thoughts. First, we're gonna start with the robot vacuum. Let me go over some of the things I really like and some things that I wanna see improved. Although it's small, it does a lot really well. I like its small and compact size. It's gonna be great for people in small apartments or condos or anybody that for some reason likes to use their vacuum and then put it away, that sort of thing. It's highly portable, easy to use, and it just doesn't take up a lot of space. It also is very good at cleaning for its small size. Very respectable performance, even though it's in such a small form factor and package. And in true SwitchBot form, it has Matter support as well as integrations with tons of third-party services. So for you out there managing your smart home, if that's important to you, whether it's Matter, IFTTT, you name it, this probably has the support you're looking for. And then of course, the fact that you can bundle it with a cordless vacuum here and have both use the same station and both have self-empty is really a nice convenience to have around your home. Now that leads us to some of the things that I want to see improve with this vacuum in the future. The first and biggest one is probably going to be the mopping system, or I should say lack of a mopping system. It's just a wet wipe on your floor. You know, it's not bad. It's much better than not having anything, but it's not a complete mopping system. So I wish they could just shrink down their main unit into this form factor and give us, even if it's tiny mopping pads or a tiny mop roller, I would love to see that somehow in the future. That would be so cool. Also, its obstacle avoidance definitely still has room for improvement. It's not the worst we've seen, but it's definitely not the best. Now on to the cordless vacuum. Here's what I really like about this vacuum. The green LED light is a super clutch feature and a nice touch. I was not expecting that. It's great that they threw in a more premium feature on this vacuum, especially because they're giving us an LED light anyways. Way to make it more effective. So round of applause for SwitchBot there. Self-empty is a fantastic feature to have on the cordless vac. Once you use one with self-empty, it's really hard to go back to one without. Even if the one without gives you a better clean, most of you out there would rather have the convenience versus a little bit more of your floors being cleaned. 90% versus 95%, not a big deal when the 90% one self-empties. This is also a really lightweight vacuum, so for those of you out there with those fatigue and worries about long cleaning sessions and what that might do to your arm or your wrist, this is going to be one of the lighter cordless vacs that you can get. And I also like that they gave us accessory storage, very convenient. Now I do wish maybe it was integrated more to the station versus standalone, or had a little drawer or a little cabinet or something inside of it. But again, it's nice that they thought of that and still gave us a place to put all the accessories, because this vacuum comes with a lot of accessories that you typically don't get as a cost-saving measure. Now for the things I want to see improve with this vacuum in the future, the first one's going to be hair detangling, maybe a cone-shaped brush, some sort of comb built in, something along those lines to help cut down on the hairs that tangle on the brush roller. That'd be a welcomed addition and improvement in the future. Also for the controls, there's no auto mode. It's basically just your minimum or maximum suction. I'd like to see an auto mode enabled that could toggle between the two, where it's smart enough to basically sense your floor and how dirty it is. And along those lines with the control, I wish we had a tiny display that showed us the battery percentage so we had a better feel for how much juice is left before it runs out. Overall, it's a small, compact system that's going to save you space, clean on its own, and allow you the ability to touch up other areas that your robot vac can't get.